also not the case of like just a generational war where, oh, the boomers own so much stuff and young people need to be able to get their foot on the ladder. You know, that's also true, but that's really trivializing the extent of what the actual catastrophe is. The catastrophe is that without people having baseline security to pursue life as they wish in their society, all the higher functions get lost. And it's a problem that is a bit under the rug at the moment because it's a minority of people still that can't enter the housing market. It's a growing number, obviously, but it's still a minority. Most people in Australia own their own houses. But as that keeps declining, it's going to roll exponentially the consequences of what it means for people who are not able to afford their own house. Because there are so many second order building things that you have in your life that come from having housing security. And those things are, in many ways, the bedrock of all of society. I can't say it strongly enough. Anyone who's been following me knows I've been harping on about this for almost a decade now. And it's not just because I would like to own a house. It's because if you have a teacher that can't afford to own a house and they're traveling an hour to get to the school that they work in, the school they work in isn't in the society that they live in, isn't in the community that they care about. They've got their own personal stresses, so they're not turning up to the life in the same way. That teacher is not a fungible commodity with a teacher that lives next door to the school, is there for 3 decades, knows all the kids, sees them, their parents at the supermarket or whatever, and doesn't have to worry about their baseline security and just can care about teaching. Those are not fungible units. Okay, they're both teachers. One looks the same on a piece of paper, entirely different. And you can do that for basically every profession, and not just professions, but also the lifestyles that are not career oriented, but are still really important to society. As housing becomes more expensive, people can't choose to do things like a volunteer in their local community. They can't choose to be a carer for their parents or care for their children. This is a sort of famous example at the moment. People can't afford to have time with their children in the critical years that they want to, which is insane because our society's become so much richer and it's thrown so much out the door on the way. So housing is a catastrophe, and yet our political class and discourse will trot out the words that we have a housing crisis and then say, here's a few $1 billion. We're going to give people 20 grand so they can help buy their first house in a city where the average house is $1 million. And of course, the market goes up by 20 grand because every new entrant has that money. Or we're going to construct some new houses and there'll be a couple 100,000 more houses in the market in 10 years. These are all just pissing around at the moment. It's absolute frittering nonsense. And not only that, it does the disservice of not talking about the problem in the terms of its severity, which is, in my mind, red alert and getting worse. This is across the Western world in particular at the moment, but in Australia, it's even more embarrassing because our tax structures are all incentivized to radically gear up that problem continuously. And there's no serious plan to deal with it. And it's a disaster. It's an earthquake under all of society. It's only going to keep disintegrating. And the problem is not represented at all in the political class, despite the lip service that they pay to it.